Okay, let's get started with the stream. Today we are going to be working some more with tiled and maybe some maps, because I started with the warp tiles, and I realized that I'm having the person interact with the warp tiles, but I want them to be screen transitions, and they'll probably be like invisible, but I would want, so if I add another object here and I add a inserted tile, inserted tile here, and then we call it let's see, just have to name it, and we'll name it 2 warp 1, because my convention is basically going to be like the ID of the tile and then where it needs to go, which tile it needs to warp to. So when it creates, when these objects get created, each of these objects has a table that has this and then warp and then this in it, and so it'll just look at the third object in the table, I guess. So let's just minimize this for a second, or we'll increase this. We will save as level 1, and then we will export as level 1.lua. Okay. So now we go to, let's go to our project folder. And we want to go to our level 1 state. And then we'll search for map. So game map is going to be level 1.lua. And then let's go back up here and create a shell. It should look exactly the same as it did before, but now there should be a warp gate over here. Yeah. Interacting. And then if I hit my interact key, you'll see it creates that table. Alright, well, I don't want it to create the table on interacting. It should just create it immediately. So let's go to our tile handler. Or where is that? Let's see, interacting. Let's go to our tile object. No. What do I call it? Is that on player? Because that should not be on player. Let's see. So interact. Oh, I think I'm going to interactable. And we want to go to on first interact. Here we go. Okay, so it gets created. That's right. It's not created as a tile. It's created as an interactable. So when this needs to happen on creation. And then we need to index into each one of those things. So this should just be on init. So we'll go to the top. So on creation, so we have this warp tag. And we don't need the... Oh no, this is right. Maybe we should just create a new object for interactables. No, this is fine. We'll put this here for right now. This is gonna be kind of hard coded, but if if the interactable is assigned a warp tag, then we want to, so this is the table that it creates where we're splitting on that. We're going to split on the underscore. So we're going to get a number and then warp and then another number. So yeah, that's fine. Warp tag. So self.warp parse. Or no, we can do local, and then underneath of here, we'll do self.warp2 is equal to warp tag item 3. And we'll just put this here. Why doesn't it like this? Global warp. Oh, warp parse. There we go. I think this is how. I don't quite remember. Lua index into table. Because I just want the third item. Okay, so creates a table, stores a reference. A at K is equal to, oh, okay, this is a new entry. New entry, print. Okay, yeah, so I think we can just do that. So index 3. Index into table. Am I thinking of this right? I may not be thinking of this right. I just want the third item in this segment. I mean, I don't have to make like a key or something, do I? Let's just see. We'll do print self.warp2. We'll go back to our shell, and this should just print on creation. Okay, yeah, I think that's right there. I don't know where that 256 is coming from. But yeah, we have 2 and then 1, so it's getting the third items, which is good. Okay, so that's working as I want to. So we're getting where the warp is happening. So we can split it all, we can keep splitting it. So let's go here and then self.warp from. Why is that selecting everything? Warp from is going to be the first item in that table. So I'll parse it out and then we'll get, so my first tile will be from 1 to 2, and then my second one will be from 2 to 1. So, okay, do not want to do that. Now that we have basically an ID that comes from the tile itself, now on interact, we want to move the player from... Okay, so let's go to interactables. Yeah, this is maybe why I should just make a warp object. Let's do that. Let's do all of these. Let's copy this, and then let's go to here. And then we're gonna make a new file called warp. And then this is gonna be warp is equal to include interactable. And let's do warp. Okay, this is fine. And then we need to do this, but for interactable. So this is basically just extending extending interactable. Because what we want to do is grab all of this. There you go. So now it's going to have its own parameters. So now when we create tile handler, now when we create these, so if it's a warp tile, instead of creating an interactable, we will create a warp. Okay. And then we are going to override hover interaction, I think. Yeah, hover. I think we're gonna overwrite hover interaction. Let's just grab the whole thing. We'll grab the whole thing just so I can reference it really quickly. So we'll overwrite this. It's gonna be warp. And we'll check collisions. So if collision action is false, we go to continue. So this is interaction on first hover. If so, interaction on what is first hover? That's fine. Okay, so we'll leave that. So we have interaction. Okay, so we do not need to overwrite this at all. I think we just need to overwrite interact. Yeah, we just need to overwrite interact. So we'll go here. We'll change this to warp, and we can delete all that. So on interact. Oh, no, because interact has to be... This gets called no matter what, whether we do an interact here or not. So this will just be anytime we hover over, and then down here is any interact key from the player. So this, if we just print warp hover interact, and then we go here, this should just, it shouldn't print tile handler 89. Oh, I didn't include. Let's go back to the beginning. Require classes dot objects dot warp. There we go. I just couldn't reference it, so that should be good. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Okay. That's working as intended. So I'll go back. And I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to kill my buffer. Okay. So we're here. So now we want to teleport we want to teleport the player. So teleport player. So we need, so my player dot x is equal to what if I just send him, what if I just do like this and send him to 0, 0? Hey, nice. Okay, well now we just created that. Okay, so the x value needs to be the warp tile of the x that it is pointing to. Okay. This is going to be interesting. So I think we're going to need a warp handler, because I need to draw this. So we have 2 points. I might be doing too much work for this, but here's a warp and here's a warp. This is 1 warp 2. This is 2 warp 1. So this is the identifier here. So this is ID. And then this is send to this ID. So this means to go to here, and this needs to go to there. So I think we need a list of these with both the IDs and where they're getting sent to. Because I don't know if there's another way to just say find, so you just need to find the warp object, find warp object with ID. Okay, so we're gonna make, on initialization of our warp objects, we are going to add it to a warp handler. So let's see how I initialized my tile handler. So let's just grab this. And then we'll go here and we'll make a new file and we'll call it warp handler. So this is just gonna hold the table. Warp handler. This is just gonna hold all the warp things in one table on initialization. Oof. I'm realizing that these tiles are only getting created per the level, not per the other levels. So how is it going to teleport from, like, this is separated by map files. So this is like map 1. Not for my case, not for the case right now, because the case right now is on the same map, but eventually, like, this is map 1, and this is going to be map 2. So without loading the whole map, I wonder if we can load... Oof, that's difficult. It might have to be a separate layer or something, but I don't know how we're gonna get a list of all the warp tiles when the warp tiles only load when the map loads. Unless the map is... Oh, maybe we don't need to go between... I think we don't need to go between warp tiles. I think we just need to open the next map and move scenes. Oh, I think that's what we need to do. So I think it would change states. We don't change... So what it's actually going to look like is we're going to have a map, right? So here, and then there's going to be a warp tile here. And this, the trigger... The trigger is going to game state dot switch. And then when we switch game states, I'm just gonna have a spawn point. So this is gonna double as a spawn point. Ah. So this tile will double as a spawn tile. Or the spawn tile will be like a little bit further in, I guess. So the spawn tile will be like here. So this is a spawn and this is a warp. Okay. I think that works. So I don't think we need this at all. I think we can just grab all of this and not save this file in any capacity. So when we go to our warp objects, so on interact, we will do teleport player, which is actually game state switch. So I wonder... I'm trying to remember how to do that. I think that's just in my main main game state. I have, or my main .lua, I have, so I can do this. So let's grab that, and then also grab yeah, so it's game state.switch. Game state.switch, I think. So if I go to warp and I add this here, and then here I just do game state.switch to dev state. Does that work? Let's go to my menu state, because I know that has a... dev state menu state that has a switch. Sorry. Switch. So that has this dev. Oh, okay, it's dev state. That's why. Okay, I had it right. I know what I think I know what I'm doing. Okay. So when I touch it, I should switch states to my dev room state, which looks very similar to this, but okay. Okay, well, we did switch because we're at states dev state. This is messed up. So we're just gonna make a new map, I guess, with a new spawn. I think that would be beneficial. So let's make a new map. And yeah, that's fine. And we're just gonna call it level 2. Add some grass, and then we'll add more my other tile. Sets embedded. Good, and we'll add this here. And then we'll add a spawn point here. And then we'll do file, export as level 2.lua. Oh, this needs to be an object. So here. And this needs to be a spawn layer. So we'll get rid of this, and then we'll add a new layer, tile layer, and we'll call it spawn. We'll add this, and then we'll add a new object layer. I think it's just called object layer, or object. I think it specifically has to be object, so I'm gonna be careful about that. And if I go to objects, then I can do this, like that, and the name will be like 2 warp 1. Good. Nope, we don't need that. Okay, so now we can save this and export it. Level 2.lua. And then let's create a level 2. So if self.warp2 oh, okay, I see. So switch, so local switch warp is going to be a concatenation of level I can literally just, I'm stupid, this is silly. I'm gonna keep this for now, but I could just name the tiled tiles the state that I want to warp to. That would make a lot more sense. Okay. I should just do that now. I think we just get rid of all the parsing and stuff. So if I name this level 2, or no, sorry, level 1, and then export that. Oh, I made this so much harder on myself. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna change it. And then both of these can be called level 2. And this can also be called level 2. They can both go there. Let's export that and minimize. So we don't need to do any parsing at all. I don't think. Let's go to the tile handler because I'm trying to remember how I do my param for this. So warp tag. Okay, so it's just the warp tag. That's literally all we need. Nice. So we actually don't need any of this. So we can, yes, game state dot switch. Self dot warp tag, and that will just go to switch to the correct game state. So now we actually need to make a level 2. So let's go to here and let's grab this. I had a state template, which there's obviously a way to do this, but a little bit better than what I'm doing right now. Okay, we're just gonna use this. And let's grab that, and let's make a new file, level 2.lua. And grab that, and we'll do replace string level 1 with level 2. Replace your occurrences. How dare you? Level 1. Ah, rude. There we go. Okay. And then our game map is gonna be level 2. And then print level 2. Set meta. No, this is wrong. This is also wrong in here, I think. Yeah. So level 1 and level 2. Okay. And that's all good. I don't think this is gonna work right off a rip, but we'll see. So the warp tile should change game states to. Oh. Okay, now we're not getting. Okay, interacting. Now we're not getting anything for those. So let's first look at our tile handler. Okay, so yeah, these. Interesting. Yeah, this is how I was trying to find this tile type name if it included the word warp in it. But maybe I just do level and then make sure all of my warp things have the word level in them. Just for now, just for now. Let's see. Oh. Okay, well, it did something. It definitely did something. Okay, so we switched to something, but what did we not change correctly? So we're not even getting into here. Why? Why? So this is all I had to do to go from the menu to the dev room state, which is just game state.switch. Do I need to do like exit or something? Like print debug? I think we need to like literally delete everything in our object handler first. Okay, it just turns black. Interesting. So this is on enter. We're creating a new object handler. See, I don't want to like be creating a new player and stuff. So like, I wonder if there's a way to say if player already exists, then skip over creating a player and stuff. Because, but it's not even getting to like this yet. Like, we should already have a camera and everything. Just because we switched game states. States.base state. Like, what are we missing? We have level 2. So on warp, so let's do this. Print. I think it might be switching to a game state that like doesn't exist or is not what it is supposed to be switching to. But okay, I said print self dot. Whoops, I did that as a string. I really need a key binding for running the game. That's not typing in love dot every time. Okay, level 2. Alright, so it should be switching to level 2. And we have level 2 dot Lua. Interesting. This is fine. We can put these back. confused why it's not making it to... Why it's not making it to the next level. Because this is like fine. I'm gonna push level 1 and then... Because before we did it, we pushed menu and then we just did this, which is just game state.switch. And this is menu state, base state new. Oh, did I? Require. I wonder if I need to require that in my warp. So require states dot level 2. Do I need to do something like that? I feel like it'd be getting an error if like it just didn't even know where to look. Level 2 11. What? Let's see. Why? Why do you not like that? Let's go back to my shell. So main.lua19 in function require menu state, dev state. Dev state in warp 3 require classes spawn objects dot tile handler. Okay, main Lua 19. So that's gonna be menu state. Require states dot level 2. I don't need the menu state right now, so let's just ignore that. Loop or previous error loading. Maybe just because I don't need to require stuff. Let's see if I just comment it, what other errors will make it. Okay, so then it's trying to call tile handler. Okay, so maybe there's something in tile handler. It said it's looping. But where though? In function require, in function require. Oh. Oops. Yeah, I'm not quite getting this error. Loop or previous error loading module classes dot spawn objects dot tile handler. States level 2. Like, I don't want it to have to load this stuff. Where is it trying to load this almost immediately? Like, maybe we don't do that. And we also don't need any of this. This is from old stuff. This is also from old stuff. So we obviously need level 1. Because that's the first thing we're pushing our game state to. So let me go to here. This is just in level 1 though. Line 11 and function require tile handler. Because it's requiring warp. But I think then in warp it's requiring this. So I think I guess it is looping because on every require it's kind of like going in a circle. So that works to an extent. But now we're kind of back to square one, where like we're not reaching this here for some reason. If I just put a debug statement all the way at the top, let's see. That's so weird. It's coming to this state, but then not actually running anything, I don't think. Which is very strange. I wonder if I should only do game state switch within a state, not within an object within a state. Like on this update loop, or at least in warp. Game state switch. Maybe I should read the documentation. So hump master game state. Let's see. Switch to a game state with any additional arguments. Switching a game state will call the leave callback on the current game state. Replace the current game state with 2. Call the init function if and only if the state was not yet initialized. And finally call enter on the new game state. Okay, so it'll leave the current one. Replace it with 2. Call the init on the new one. Processing of callbacks is suspended until update is called on the new game state. But the function calling can still continue. It's your job to make sure it's handled correctly. See the examples below. Stop the execution of the current state by using return. This will not be called. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm getting caught in this, where basically we need to finish the full like update cycle of the level 1 update. So like this needs to have, so on enter we need to have, and this can probably just be in the base state, but like if self.switch, because if I just do this, so on like here, just on level 1, if we just do game state dot switch, I cannot type what is happening, and then we do level 2, and we go to our dev state right here. Any state will do. And we go back to the top. Game state. And let's search for game state. So on the first update, this should just change to level 2. We don't need the warp or anything. It's just hard coded for right now. Oh, it needs to be a string. Shell. Okay, so same thing. Which is very weird. So it's doing it. It's switching, but it's getting like, I don't want to say stuck. It's just not starting this. We're not even getting this either. And this can be deleted. Wait, what did I put for my menu state when I did this? Yeah, this needs to be itself. Base state.enter. clicked switch. It's so weird. And that just started like at the top. Because we're not even getting to this. Or this. It's like, where is it just pausing? Where are you pausing? States. We have level 1.lua, level 2.lua. What is the difference? What is the difference? On first init, it should just print this. Let's read this again. Only works. Oh, game state dot current update. What is register event overwrite? Call back to call. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Is there any more focused? Quit. New switch. Process of callbacks is suspended until update is called on new game state. Game level 2. Switching game state will... Yeah, but what's additional arguments? Mixed additional arguments. Let's see. Because this worked perfectly fine for switching from menu to level 1. Like, what if I try to do game state dot switch level 1? Wait, because if I go to menu, this is literally a variable, dev room state. Where did I even get that from? Did I need to specify that as some kind of variable? Oh, wait. I think I get it. I think this is level 2, or this, clear that. We want to go to level 1. This cannot be in quotes. This needs to be here. And then at the top of the page, we need to require states dot level 2. We just can't do it directly from our warp. Oh, yes. Perfect. Okay. Obviously, things are a little weird. I forgot why that's doing that, but, cool. Cool. Okay. So, if we can only call this from our current state, then that means we need to send our state to our warp objects, which we already do. If we just go to like objects, here, classes, objects, and then objects. We're already sending our state to update. Okay, so warp just needs an update. Also, this is not, we don't need this at all. Let's go back to level 1 and we'll search for level, oops. Level 2, and we'll kill that. Dot. Okay. That's fine. Okay. So maybe we did need that. So if it has an animation, then it's updating. Okay. We are going to run, because the warps are going to have animations as well. So we're going to get our own, we're going to override this update function in warp. I'm probably going to throw that here. And we're going to do warp update. And we're going to delete all of this. We're going to do object.update self pt state. So it's going to update that first with the animations, and then on update, now we can do, let's see, if self.warp, we'll do self.warping. But no, interact is, I don't need this. I don't need this at all. Literally all we need to do, no, because we need the state. So self.warping, I would love to be able to type, is equal to true, or false by default. And then if this is equal to true, then we do state.warp or yeah, state.warp, and then we want to send it the self.warp tag. Oh, this needs an then. Okay, so we're gonna send our state base state will have a warp function attached to it. So base state, and we're just gonna go to the end and function base state warp. And we're gonna take in where we're warping to. So state. And then we do game state dot switch to state. And then we need to add game state up here. Local game state is equal to, let's see if I have this still in here. Oh, I do. So local game state. Okay, so base state warp will switch. So when we're in warp, we'll do state.warp in our warp tag, which cannot be a string, by the way. Right? So self.warping equals true. And then at the end of this, self, or no. And then self.warping equals false. Alright, let's just try it, but I don't think it can be a string. I think it needs to be, oh. Okay, now we're not even interacting. Okay, not interacting with you either. Okay, I can interact with this. I cannot interact with this. Why? Did I change something? Did I change something? No, that's fine. What happened to my warps? What happened to you? Let's see, on update. That should not make a difference at all. I know I added that, but okay. On interact. Oh, I might be overwriting my interactable update. Let's see. What do I have for this? Ah. Okay, so I need to be calling that instead. So it's interactable dot update, and then so that stuff self dt state. Okay, now I should be able to hover over that, and missing argument game state to switch to. Okay, in function warp. So level 1 update warp in function update line 23 in function warp. Okay. State.warp self.warp tag. So if I go back to my base state, yeah, this is weird because it needs to be it needs to be not a string. What is that called? What is that called? Because this is gonna end up being a string. But I need it to be plain text without the quotes. I don't think I've ever had this issue before. What do we even search for this? Lua turn string into variable name? Load return user input. Interesting. So underscore G. Does that work? I have no idea what that is, but I guess we're gonna find out. Yeah, no, it didn't work. Yeah, I don't even know what to search for this. This might have to be an LLM answer because I think we search LLM for this because I don't know. Let's see, Lua input needs to be a variable name, not a string, but my input is a string. So if you have my variable equals 42, access value equals, no, that's not quite what I want. I kind of want to do convert string to string without quotes? Like, what is that even called? Oh, G sub. No, 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 no. I have a string. So self dot warp tag is equal to level 2, and I need the literal text game state dot switch self dot level 2, and you want to convert that into the literal code. Oh, it's okay, so I was doing that right. This just needs to be this. Open brackets and close brackets. Is that what I'm thinking of? Self dot warp tag print self dot warp tag. Let me just make sure this is a string literal. Okay. And then let's print this, whatever this does. Okay, that prints a... It prints that. Let's see. This is so weird. Like, I need to pass... Oh, I know what I do. I think I need to... Because this is not defined here. So we pass this into here, like this. And then in our base state, we can receive the state as... So, like, local game state is equal to, or if I just do like local and then like this, that's what the heck. Yeah, so if I do, I have to require all my require states dot level 1, require states dot level 2. And then this, oh my gosh, this will be G brackets that. I still doubt this is gonna work. Oh. God, okay. Just doing the loop again because I'm requiring level 2, which is requiring base state. Is level 1 requiring base state? I don't think it requires, does it? What if I do that and then level 2? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, level 1 requires base state, but base state requires level 1 or whatever. What is a good way to do this, man? Because I need to require level 1 to warp to it. Warp. So to recognize this as something to switch to, what's the best way to do this? What if I only... Okay. Go to base state, right? And in base state, yeah, because it needs a game state to switch to. What if I just do a state handler or something? But I would still have to pass that through. I would still have to pass a state handler all the way through to the warp icons. So like, I go to level 1. I don't need that. I don't think this works. Oh, it does. Interesting. How does this know that this needs to be base state dot new if I haven't required it? I guess we're about to find out. Oh. Yeah. I feel like I might be missing something fairly obvious. So let's put this back. Yeah, because the issue is I am requiring base state, which requires level 1, which requires a tile handler. But base state requires level 1, and level 1 requires base state, which just creates a loop. So I mean, I don't need to necessarily require... Here's the thing, I don't necessarily need to require these, I just need to be able to reference them as a state. So game state can reference them as a state. I wonder... Because even between states, you're gonna have to require stuff between states. Because, like, if I did it at a state level, then... like, what if I did this? It's gonna sound really dumb, but what if I just put require all the way down here? And same with this. Because then it wouldn't be loading on, like, default. Using game state to switch to base state 166. So that's nil for some reason. Missing arguments, game state to switch to. In warp. Why? Let's pull the documentation again. Because on switch, stop execution of the current state by using return. This will not be called when the state is switched. Okay, that makes sense, but push the 2 on top of the stack state stack makes it the active state. Semantics are the same as switch, except that the leave is not called on the previous state. Yeah, we want to totally leave. Okay, so I'm gonna need this as well. So level 1 is this, level 2 equals this. Print state. Why is this still coming up nil? Okay, yeah, that's not even coming up with a print warp stuff. Print state. Let me just make sure state is even coming through. Oh, okay, that's nil as well. So why? Sometimes I'm not entirely sure the difference between doing like dot for something or oh, that looked somewhat promising. Still not still not loading stuff, but at least we got that. Let me try it without this, 'cause I'm not sure if I actually need that or not. Okay. We're good. Okay, that's working. So as long as we have those global variables there, we're good. Oh, no. We do this, and then we get rid of these, because level 1 and level 2 are already defined. So as soon as I make them empty, then that's why nothing's happening. Hey, yes! 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 Let's go. Oh, we're getting real laggy. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that are wacky, and I think it's just because of... I wonder if there's a way to pass things through from state to state. Current... register events. Like when I switch states, how do I, like I'm making, let's say, so on level 1, I'm creating a player. If I don't do this, if I don't do this, oh, I think I just did it on level 1. Yeah. Like I'm creating a player here, and then I'm also creating a player on... Then I'm also creating a player on the other thing, and then so how do I just pass this player from this, let's see, hump game state pass variables between states. Oh, here we go. All right, a simple menu system. How to use those parameters onto a new game state. I coded something simple to show what I want. Okay, I think you can solve it this way. Let's say you call game state.push state2 attack 1118, and you should define state2 enter as such. Oh, so I think I need to just pass in my object handler and my tile handler. And that should be everything. There's a few tests just now and it works. Here's the relevant code. Push gstates.pause image self.mapWidth self.mapHeight something. Pause game state. So on enter, it'll take all this stuff. Hello. Hello. There's a lot of funny guys in here. This guy. Okay, so we are passing. Yeah, this is fine. These are all the parameters on enter. Local pause the screen, pause it. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I think what we want to do is in base state, we want to pass this. I want to pass object, my object handler. Or do we want to do that? We only want to pass the player. Or we should make a list of things that we would want to pass to the different states. So the player being one of them. And then the camera too, because we don't need to keep making the camera. Oh no, we can make a new camera every time. Let's think. Let's just try passing the player through. So we could just do like this. Self dot my player is equal to this. And then we can get rid of this. And then So weird, because we're going to be back in our base state, which is not going to inherit the player. At all. So we want to pass the player from one state to another state, but we're creating the player in level 1. So level 2 needs to accept player and do self.myPlayer is equal to whatever. Okay. But okay, so that should be fine. So then we'll go here and we will delete this. And we just need to say self.myPlayer. How do they do this here? Can we see that push? All of these. And then on enter, we can have player. Self.myPlayer is equal to player. Right? I think that will work. Okay, yeah, no. So, so on level 2 enter, so play game state, pause game state. We can send in stuff like this. So we're sending in our game state. Oh, previous. Okay, so this is probably just taking in. Okay, I see. So that's not nil. So this would be the previous game state. And then this is the player. Let's see. Okay, so now this is nil. In so let's do some print debugging. So print self.myPlayer. Okay, so that is nil. I think I need to send, because when we do warp, we're sending in this, we're sending in the level 1 state here. So state warp. And warp is inherited from base state. Self.myPlayer. I think that's what the issue was. Simple misspelling. Okay. It didn't load anything. So why? We do have a player now though, which is good. So that's good like that. So where is it getting stopped at? So spawn tile, tile handler. Yeah, this needs to be new because this is different. Why did we enter base state? Base state enter? Why does it say that? So we printed level 2, local self equals base state new. Return self. Oh. That needs to be like that first of all. And then second of all, why are we not drawing our tiles? Drawing the window. Why are we not drawing the tiles? So we open window init. We find spawn tiles. Create the player, debug mode. We create a new canvas. And then we find... We don't need to do this anymore. I wonder if that was messing stuff up. No. It's very strange. Print debug. Back to the old debug print statements. Okay, we're reaching debug. So let's drop it in our, let's see if it's getting to update. Or are we reaching our update calls? We are. Interesting. Player, self.myPlayer. Let me print. I think it has something to do with the camera, maybe. Self.myPlayer.x. Let's see if everything's getting transferred correctly. Okay. We have a spawn tile, 352. So why can't I see anything? Why can I not see anything? Why are we not drawing stuff? Why are we not drawing stuff to the screen? Alright, we're just gonna do print self.myPlayer.x and see if we are updating our player movement. You're not. which means we're one step closer. So this is not updating. For some reason. Object handler. We have an object handler. Let's go back to level 1 and see if I'm missing anything. Base state.new index equals level 1. And then we're creating this, which is fine. Update, update, update camera, scale. I don't think we need to, how about we just send the same window into? So let's go here, and here we can do window, which means I don't need this. And then, where are we getting, I guess window init? Where are we getting self.window width? I, honest to God, forget where. Oh, that's probably coming from this. So let's pass in the window from here. So self.window. And then in level 1, we're gonna grab this. Whoa. I'm gonna grab this and go to our base state and go like this. And it's gonna be self.window, so then in level 1, self.window, or window is gonna be self.window. And then we're gonna initialize it, and then we're gonna pass it through. So if I go to warp, or base state, self.window. Oh, we're already initializing the window, so I don't need to do that in here at all. I think. Yeah. Why are we killing the window, though? I guess that's because it's part of the state. I don't want to kill the window. I just want to pass the window through. How do I preserve a variable? Don't kill variables between states. Leave call. When you switch from one game state to another, the leave callback of the current state is called, allowing you to perform any necessary cleanup or save data. The new game state's init is called only if the state hasn't been initialized before. Variables defined within a game state are generally retained unless explicitly reset or removed. Oh, here we go. I've never seen this. Draw, update, leave, enter, init, enter. Okay. Whale. That has been almost 2 hours, and I have not figured this warping out yet, which is fine. I'm getting very close. I'm wondering if I should just not use game states and I should just use different maps, I guess. I'm not sure. But thanks for anyone who was watching. I am probably going to end the stream here.